Hi Scorpios, welcome to Birdie's Intuitive Tarot, formerly Barefoot Mama Intuitive Reading. I'm really happy to be here today, especially because I feel like I have a little bit more time than I usually do, or at least there's an energy of taking my time that's sort of sinking in, and I wonder if that's true for everybody in the Scorpio collective or just me. We're also entering into Libra season pretty soon, ending our Virgo season for the year. So there's an energy for certain of justice or karma closing out anything that maybe you've been dealing with that's been heavy or unjust or unfair. I feel like people are going to get their comeuppance in just the terms of like things being natural consequence, not so much moral subjugation or retribution. So with that being said, let's open for your reading this week. That feels really nice. It's a really nice sound. If you haven't subscribed already, please do to my channel. You can enter to win a free reading at the end of the month. There's one winner I'll pick at the end of the month just by subscribing, liking this video, and commenting on any video from here until then. Spirit, please protect this reading. Send any negative energy back to sender, transmuted tenfold, for the greatest good of all and harm to none. Archangel Michael, please bring clear, concise messages through for my Scorpios and cross-watchers, and anybody with Scorpio placements. Mother Mary, please bring compassion to these messages. And Kali, please cut energetic cords to energies or entities no longer serving our highest good. Send them on to the next greatest plane of existence to finish out their karma there. Amen, amen, so mote it be. Jai Ma Kali. All right, so I've got the inner child cards. This was my first deck of tarot cards given to me when I was 14 and still had no idea that I would be doing this in the future. Interesting. I also have one of the past lives cards just kind of wanted to show itself. Wild West. Other cowboy, settler, indigenous person. Wow. So you might be getting into some like really old family patterns closing out. High Middle Ages. Lesson is greed. Interesting. Identity, devotee or follower. Love is through abandonment. Faith. Ethical religion. We talked about ethics and morals a bit. Location, Eastern Europe, and death by murder. So here we go. One more. These cards are interesting because there's just sort of a bunch of different cross sections of past life possibilities that come out. And we have indigenous person at the bottom. Location, stars. Trauma, psychic wounding. Faith, celestial. Death, old age. Lesson, self-love. Time frame, pre-earth. Identity, androgynous. Love, true love. Wow. So this month especially, love for the self, true love, anything sort of cosmic or ancient starseed ancestors, or if you're an indigenous person whose family has been hurt through loss of land, or whose family was hurt through loss of land in Europe and then came over to America to settle here and founded the great greed machine of our capitalist empire. All of the heavy contrasts, both now and then, are coming up. All of the psychic wounding, all of the subconscious, it's all coming up to be seen in the cultural limelight, and potentially in your family, potentially just in you. That's heavy. But what that is, it's like cultural shadow work. It's like collective shadow work. Our shadows are being seen. The information about the shadows that made our culture what it is today is coming up, or made ourselves who we are today is coming up. And I don't think this is the kind of shadow work where you're going to be like, oh, I don't want to look at it necessarily. I think that this is shadow work where we've all sort of already looked and now are wondering where to go or what to do or how to process. So next steps is what I'm getting. Are you kidding? The Earth Child, the world. Oh, wow. Okay, we're going to read this. This is the overall energy of this reading. This is intense and magnificent. How beautiful. So the Earth Child is about a child who is waiting to be born on planet Earth. This is about contracts. This is about karmic contracts. We have the star seed over here and pre-Earth with Earth Child. That's so wild. That's so bizarre. I might not read this whole thing, but essentially, the Earth Child is about the the contracts we make before coming to Earth, so that we can learn what we need to learn. Whatever your purpose is in coming here is being revealed to you. In the traditional tarot, this card is the World. In inner child cards, it is the Earth Child, and in wombed human soul preparing for rebirth. The child represents the culmination of a long journey. As the soul progresses through the passage of time, space, matter, and spirit, there is a re-emergence back into the primordial egg. At birth, a new beginning, complete and whole, makes its dramatic entrance into the physical world of earth, water, air, and light. I also want to say metal, like based on the Chinese elements. This card suggests the potential of future development and the creative interpretation of multidimensional consciousness. To be born into the material universe is to experience pain and suffering. Ironically, the most common bond uniting every human being on Earth. Appropriately, this card has always been ruled by Saturn. I think something's going on with Saturn and Chiron right now, so that makes sense. Psychic wounds and the discipline that we need to heal them. The beautiful ring planet that signifies discipline, responsibility, concentration, hard work, vulnerability, and the resolution of old karma. The Tibetan master DK, writing through his disciple Alice Bailey, confirmed a profound link between Saturn and the Earth. Both planetary bodies are associated with the divine ray, or force carrying the energy of active intelligence and adaptability. I've heard also that Saturn is associated with Jesus, or like that sort of energy. I'm not sure why. By learning difficult lessons on Earth, lifetime after lifetime, the human soul begins to comprehend the vast scope of existence in the infinite universe. The human embryo itself, while gestating in the womb for 40 weeks of pregnancy, recapitulates the entire evolution of life on this planet, as it progressively resembles first reptilian, then amphibian, and finally mammalian forms before birth takes place. Wow. The beauty, that's so interesting. I was just thinking about how, like, the first year of our life sort of sets the foundation for the way our bodies and minds experience cycles throughout the rest of our life. And one of the things I was wondering about was why kids love dinosaurs so much. And if that's true also for their cycles in the womb, I wonder if that reptilian aspect when kids are very young is why, like, dinosaurs are so fascinating for little people. Interesting. I'm not sure. The beauty, majesty, complexity, and uniqueness of life on Earth are woven together within the fabric of the human baby about to be born. There is an unusual yet distinct connection between this 21st card of the major trumps and its numerical reverse, the 12th card, Jack and the Beanstalk. The beanstalk that Jack climbs, linking heaven and earth, is similar to the umbilical cord uniting mother and child. I've also heard the beanstalk referred to as like the tree of life or the anaconda, or even I've heard that ayahuasca is sort of the gateway symbol for those things. Like ayahuasqueros would do ayahuasca in order to be able to travel between the dimensional realms of the middle and lower and upper worlds. Ayahuasca is a vine. So interesting. Whew. So it links heaven and earth and is similar to the umbilical cord uniting mother and child. Jack, as a fairy tale version of the hangman, voluntarily decides to bear his cross and move through a process of self-sacrifice. We just talked about Jesus. The embryonic soul in the earth child makes a spiritually conscious choice to re-enter the physical world and once again take up the cross of earthly living. Just as the hangman reverses his understanding to prepare for the transition known as death, the earth child gives up its divine state of bliss to serve humanity and await the transition known as birth. The sequence of 22 major cards reaches its culmination in the earth child, but this natural process is a circular dance rather than a series of linear images and experiences. The embryo, containing all the meaningful experiences gained in the passage through the major trumps, matures into the fool, the little red calf, and goes through the journey of the tarot from the seed state and back. When this card is in your reading, powerful and divine influences are gestating within your aura. Embrace them with an open mind. Remember how protected and nurtured you are by invisible helpers, guides, and teachers. You are never alone. Experience the universal harmony emanating from the sun, the sacred nucleus of the solar system, and become the rhythmic beating of your own heart, the radiant center of your body. The ancient saying, as above, so below, is true, for cosmic wisdom is encoded in your DNA and cells. Most of all, let a sense of childlike wonder fill your life. See with new eyes, touch the world as if for the first time, summon courage for the rites of initiation that lie ahead. Oh man, Scorpios, this is awesome and heavy. So a number of things stood out to me there. First of all, that whatever you were born to do or whatever you came to this earth to do, that is becoming known to you now. Secondly, you are protected. You have helpers, invisible helpers. You may be awakening to those if you haven't met many of your guides yet. And you may also be entering into a state of consciousness where like signs and synchronicities become really consistent, where you're able to enter into like the lower and the upper worlds, or even go inward to the point of like molecular awareness of the self. And as you do this work, this light work, whatever this is for you, as you hold your space, the heart itself, right, has an electromagnetic field, just like the earth has an electromagnetic field. And I was just reading about this experiment last week called the Maharishi effect. It was an experiment done, I believe, in the 90s, where like 700 advanced meditators were brought together to meditate just to see if the effects of that meditation would impact crime. And what ended up happening was that for like 3 weeks, that was 2 or 3 weeks, the crime rates and suicide rates and um, even the impacts of like war were diminished or decreased by like 16%. I'm not sure how they measured it, but it was a significant enough impact that the experiment was repeated, and that the FBI got curious about it. And the premise of this is that the heart has an electromagnetic field, and that we have energy, and just like the earth has its electromagnetic field and it has energy that can influence the way that birds and fish and sheep flock and swim and fly together, so does the human heart have the ability to influence other human hearts. So as you go into your peace, as you hold your space, as you prioritize your peace, not just go into peace, but literally defend your peace at all costs. Just be at peace. Just choose not to be bothered. It will create ripples in the world around you. The Book of Psychic Self-Defense. So I opened this to mind control and a conjured demon, which is really interesting also because when we talk about ayahuasca, or really any sort of plant medicine or something that we've imbibed for intoxication, what that is doing is it's creating a chemical reaction in the brain that sort of tunes you into a certain frequency. It used to be considered, it used to be thought anyways, that like the spirits of plants or the spirits of, I've talked about this a lot on this channel, the spirit of alcohol, for instance, or the spirit of ayahuasca, or the spirit of mushrooms, or the spirit of, you could even say peace, like something moral. Those are like sort of larger entities as well. So when we partake in the body of the thing, of the entity, we are also allowing it for a time to not just color our vision, but almost possess. And it's possible that you're starting to see the spirit in things to such a degree that it's almost back to indigenous ritual. Like in my family, we're, Cherokee and Pawnee, And when we want to use a medicine of some sort, we exchange tobacco as an offering. Also, there's a long story about tobacco. I highly recommend you look into it if you'd like. But let's get into this. I'm going to pull a rune and then we'll get into the tarot. There's a few that are standing out, but the first one in the middle is manas, or man, and it's upside down. Oh, wow. And then we have Othala, heritage. What is this reading for you today? This is intense. Strength, a gateway. I'm reading it in the spiral. That's how I was taught how to read these. Wheel of fortune or luck is shifting to torch, Kanu, interesting, and to Fehu. I think this one is, oh, Anzu's mouth. Wow. Gabo, gift. Somebody here is inheriting the gift of Gab. Joy. Sun. Fehu. Wealth. Let's see, what's that one? It's hard to read it on here. Oh, that's, I see. Sorry. Need. Okay. So essentially, from what I'm seeing here, somebody is going to have an opportunity to speak their truth. And it, like, if you've ever had issues with being able to speak your truth for some reason or being able to get things out, this opportunity arises like destiny, like fate. And you are able to get out what you need to get out regarding especially how basically the influence of man over spirit has created the sort of perpetuation of a lack mentality, which creates greed. Whereas when we see the spirit, the exchange, the natural consequences of basically natural order, like when I take from something, I've got to give back in some way. Um, Whoever you are, whatever you say, and whatever opportunity you have to say this in, you're going to be so happy to be able to say this. And I think the people around you or for whom you speak will also feel quite happy. And you'll be seen as being gifted or talented in terms of this communication um, by the people who are witnessing this. And it may just be a one off, like, bam, I had to say this thing, but you might be, Thorn is here. Thorn, yeah, so this has been a thing for you to have to bear for a while, like a literal thorn in your side. Like you've had something on your mind and you've been wanting to get it off your mind, get it off your mind, get it off your mind. Now is your opportunity. Tears Rune is here, and then ending this reading is power. So the undoing of natural processes of power, or the powers that be are being undone, essentially, especially in regards to greed. And then this one at the bottom, yield or harvest, is upside down, which is also interesting. Harvest season has passed, so I'm seeing this in this spiral pattern. Essentially, you're able to speak your truth. It comes out. It's this big sort of eruption, and then something comes of it, but things almost feel like they sort of go back to normal. And yet I did this sound bath last week for my yin class. I do a sound bath at the end and with a guided meditation, and it was a meditation about disappearing into your molecular self and ridding yourself basically of the things that you just don't need anymore, and then coming back into wholeness. And because those little things are gone, you seem almost the same, but because those things were like these little poisons or these little darts or these little thorns in your side, right, like death by 1,000 needles, now that they're gone, even though you look the same, everything is fundamentally changed. So let's get into the tarot. Thanks for sticking with me through that there's just a lot of energy coming through, and it's massively powerful. My attention's being drawn to this nautilus here. Spirit, what does the Scorpio collective need to know? Ten of Cups reverse. Yeah. Modern ideals, potentially yours or your family's, whoever's, of what happiness is like fully upside down. It's fully upended. There's a restructuring of the norm, of the collective norm for what constitutes happiness, contentment. Ten of Swords. There's an ending, especially in terms of communication. Lots of endings. You've got 21, the world here, and then you have 10 and 10. So it's an ego death. You're experiencing massive ego death. We are culturally experiencing an ego death. But by putting an ending to what isn't working anymore, we're opening the spiral to new blessings, to new patterns, to new karma. The King of Cups, you're at the center of your reading, Scorpio. You were made for this. You know how to stay emotionally stable while things fall apart. That is your specialty. So yeah, you were made for this. Woo. You also know how to give things over to spirit. Four of Swords. You know when to pick up your sword, when to lay it down. You know when it's your time to speak and when it's not. You know when you can control something and when you can't. You have discernment, and you're able to exercise this for the stability of your mind while this shift is occurring. Eight of Pentacles reverse. Oh, yikes. For a reading of this magnitude, with the sort of heavy concepts and collective imagery and earthly and pre-earth, an Eight of Pentacles reverse can talk about like an economy crash, and I don't usually say stuff like that in my readings. The Fool. Again, this crash though leads to new beginnings, so you're aware of this, and you may have already prepared for this. You might have multiple irons in the fire. The World, oh my god, you have the world here twice. You've been preparing for the end of the end forever, because you know two of cups. Oh my gosh, because you're an alchemist, because you know how to make something out of nothing. You've been waiting to help people, or to have the opportunity to make something out of nothing. And I'm not saying that the end of an economy or the end of our, I don't know, a job, like if you're at a job and your job ends or something, like I'm not saying that it's going to be the kind of thing where you're happy about it, but you are going to take this leap of faith. Seven of Pentacles reverse, and you're also going to feel just freed from waiting and waiting and waiting for the efforts that you're putting in to come back to you, when they're not. They're being your energy, your time is being taken and taken, and those resources are being put elsewhere, and they haven't been given back to you. That's this betrayal. Nine of Pentacles reverse. Yeah, like anything that's been taken from you should be ideally in the kind of world where we understand the energetic exchange between spirits, spiritual beings, or even just the energetic exchange between humans and the earth, right? Like if we take from the earth, we need to be able to allow those resources to be replenished by taking care of the earth, right? um the Nine of Pentacles reversed here is like that pattern. That's the pattern that's being done. Like if you've been promised a raise, or promised a promotion, or promised a job, or promised a certain status, like any of our generations, like if you think about any of the previous generations, like my parents' generation, they were, latchkey kids, and they were promised, like, to have a certain quality of life. Like they were promised if they went to college that they'd be able to afford their bills, and like people are still trying to pay off their student loans. And the millennials, we were like promised basically that if we did this and this, we would be able to like fix all of the mistakes of previous generations. And now we've got generation, is it Alpha, coming in, and they're just like, no more promises. I'm doing what I'm doing. Like, don't even tell me what you want, what you think that I should do. Like, I'm going to educate myself and take my own path and do what I came here to do. So this could just be kind of an overview of the progress of information as it's influenced every generation, and how it's influenced like the material movement of goods across international boundaries, or the movement of goods from human to earth and back. um the Fool can also mean youth, right? Like, and there's a baby here. You could be having a baby that is part of like a wave of star children coming in to help bring about justice, specifically on behalf of the earth, is what I'm hearing. Three of Pentacles. There are lots of people working with you. The Three of Pentacles here is standing out to me as guides. Guides that you might have once believed to be ethereal, but you're starting to see the reality of spirit in such a way that there's not so much a separation between your spirit guides and your physical human form and self anymore. It's like you close your eyes, you commune, you get downloads, you get, again, synchronicities. You're in creation. You're in co-creation with the universe. Whoever I'm speaking to is highly tuned in. And maybe you've always felt a little bit misunderstood, or a lot misunderstood, because the subtle energies, the microcosmic focus of the subtle energies, in contrast to the macrocosmic picture of this reading, is a wide breadth of material for a mind to comprehend without feeling lost. So whoever you are, you've done a wonderful job of dealing with your grief, your emotions, of doing things in silence. The Lovers, of giving over your right to choose, feeling like your choices were maybe being stolen from you. Also, perhaps you've given up certain ideals of romantic connection for what really holds true to you. You've given up plenty in terms of your material wealth. You've probably had a number of ego deaths where it was necessary to move or to lose maybe keepsakes or money, investments gone wrong, strength reversed. It's important during this time not to feel like a victim. See this as an opportunity. You have the strength. This card literally says you have the strength for this initiation. So the warning here is King and Queen of Pentacles reverse. When we are in lack, when we are worried about where our next meal is going to come from, it's easy to resort to fight or flight. It's natural to resort to fight or flight. It's natural to want to feed yourself first. It's natural to want to steal or to want to undermine the rules just so you can get what you need, because the sort of desperation that comes from poverty or lack is, it's survival. Your executive functions go out the window, and there's a reason I think that the wage gap is so massive. The poor get poorer, the rich get richer. It's as much a mindset thing as it is a natural consequence, as it is potentially manipulation by certain well-informed forces. But your initiation here is to recognize that your wealth is not in the material. Right. The Devil reversed, Eight of Cups reversed, the Ten of Wands. Your wealth is in your ability to go inward. We said this at the beginning, and to recognize that any projection of demonic possession, like we talked about, or any encounter with negativity in the world, or anything, I think Carl Jung said this, anything that arises into your experience is an opportunity, the Fool, for you to integrate a piece of yourself we see so much of our experience through lenses of projection. It's rare and difficult for us to actually see objectively. And the way we see objectively is by integrating, what am I learning from this? Why is this person in my experience? What am I here to learn? What are they here to teach me? And you encounter this lesson, this thing over and over and over again. It's not about gaslighting. It's literally about taking responsibility for yourself as a spiritual being who may or may not. I think the people I'm speaking to probably do believe in reincarnation, in Earth as a school, in certain beings coming to Earth who have been through multiple reincarnations to help other beings who are making their way through the school of Earth become lighter, become more love, more and more love, true love, not just this romantic, attached, toxic, codependent love, true love. You are feeling true love. You are seeing things clearly. You may be experiencing something in the justice system that, because of your ability to integrate in this way, because of the energetic burdens you've taken on by doing this integration, your work, your person, who you are is seen clearly. A person in authority sees you clearly. And the result, the Tower reverse. Yeah, anything that you were worried about, the Seven of Wands reversed, the Nine of Swords, the King of Wands reversed. I don't know, anything you were worried about, other people coming into your energy or trying to control you, or like business offers. I don't know, you just keep turning it over. And if you thought the tower was going to crumble or the shoe was going to drop, there's this like bam, new energetic beginning, this new communication that comes to you. You go inward, some sort of judgment is reversed, the work you have done is being seen. The Nine of Wands and the Hermit, the Ace of Pentacles. You may even be getting a payout or a big gift because, first of all, you spoke up for yourself. But the Five of Swords, you said what needed to be said. You just said what needed to be said. So, Scorpio, that reading was wild. I'm going to do one Universal Truths card. But what I'm hearing is that you've been holding your tongue, biting your tongue, doing your work, keeping to yourself, staying balanced, and an opportunity arises for you to say what needs to be said. And there might be things in what you have to say that are difficult for other people to hear, but you're speaking your truth based on your, what it seems like is vast experience and wisdom, like wisdom that prioritizes peace and love and reflection before retributive action. Huh. Interesting. Universal truths. All right. Ooh. I'm hearing the phrase speak softly and carry a big stick. Like the hermit, right? Okay. Basicness. This planet is so filled with glitz, glimmer, and glamour, we essentially forget why we are really here. Truly, now is the time to get back to the original basic universal concepts. When we are humble, we are high minded. And when we maintain our humility, we are spiritually advanced. We are not concerned with what we have on the outside. We are more concentrated on what we have on the inside. You might be going on a pilgrimage, Scorpio. I'm really interested to know whose reading this is. This soothes and touches our souls the most. The truth is our hearts sing through simplicity. Fundamental basicness holds within it the essence of comfort, safety, and serenity. Our simple life becomes the soft whispering amongst the complex clamoring of the world. Basicness is the basis for all that is beautiful, beneficial, and bountiful. I'm not sure I like the word basicness. It just but you know, it's what's standing out to me about it is like homesteading, or like getting back to knowing how to really tune in with the fundamental law of like energy exchange that we were talking about at the beginning of this reading. Like, you don't feel like you need more than you have, or you're learning how to defer to spirit and be grateful and be humble. Yeah, lovely reading. All right, Scorpios, thanks for being here. I hope this helped. You can book a personal reading with me if you want at the Etsy link down below. And again, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do. Also, there's a membership. It's really affordable. I think $2.99 or $4.99 a month are the options. Check it out if you want to support the channel more. Thank you so much to all of you who have. I look forward to seeing you soon. Maybe I'll do a bonus reading this week. That sounds nice. All right. Bye, friends.